So, and kind of said it at the deal of, you know, be able to know where you're going, you need to know where you came from, right? Good and bad. So, I think it's awesome that you guys provide this for all of the retirees, but once again, for them to be able to pick the brains of generations of fire service, paramedics, and all that. One person that always wanted to be here really bad, obviously, was Lyle. When I texted all of our retirees maybe a month ago and said, hey, we have this event coming. Lyle was one of the first, if not the first, to say I'll be there. So obviously, it's been a rough couple weeks for a lot of us. So I just wanted to say that. So Miss Lyle, and yeah, with that, it'd be great to introduce some of our retirees. Jared's not retiring anytime soon, so don't point at him. But Mike, go on, introduce yourself and kind of what your positions at Tumwater when you were there and all that good stuff.
How long you got?
No, I should have prefaced this.
Yeah, Mike Elich, hired, or actually volunteered at Tumwater 1982 and got hired on 1988. Worked for about 31 years and retired March 31st, 2019, so 6 years. Been growing the beard ever since. Talk about history. History intertwines. When I was volunteering, I worked with Sean's dad. Any of the people here will all have stories about each other, how we supported each other, how we, picked on each other, all the things that we did together, and those things last with you throughout your lifetime. To be able to come back and see old faces that are getting older is pretty amazing. There's Maggie. Maggie taught me how to shoulder load Firehouse.
Me and Betsy Ross.
Yeah. Like, she taught me how to do it, and every time I loaded hose, I did it the way that she taught me, and it made me a better firefighter.
Thanks, buddy.
And there isn't anybody here that wears a blue shirt that in some way has had a positive impact on my life.
That's very nice, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's every day.
Jim McGarva, been retired about 5 years now, and time does go by fast. And I came on in 92, I believe, and retired, like I say, 5 years ago. And I know that it's 10:30 about, and then JW is coming up, so I'm going to cut mine short. Just get comfortable. Coffee and fun.
Thanks, Jeff. I have something to say quickly. So J.W. Foster came up here out of Nevada in 1988 with Tumwater, and then in 96 I started the Yelm program for the Medic 2. I became the first paid firefighter in Yelm. Yeah, and now that's really blossomed out. And then in 2000 went over and helped the Sprint unit with their unit, and then Tumwater took that over in 2010, and so I did the whole I'm back and retired out in 2013. But this is my first day physically at Firehouse 5, so thank you, Chief and Frank and everybody else who made this possible. This is a great way to connect with our history. And that's it.
Wow.
Hey! You've seen history in the making.
I'm John Caleb, probably the latest retiree from Tumwater. I started in Tumwater in '95 as a volunteer, and then I went to East Olympia as a resident, and a 19-year-old living at a fire station running on calls was pretty cool, and the stuff that we did back then that I was kind of shocked that we did, but we did as young 19-year-olds, boys living at a fire station. Yeah, but I'll actually say Frank Spickelmeyer actually did a job fair for Olympia High School back in the early 90s, and that's where I got kind of introduced to the fire service a little bit.
So it's your
and
fault.
then started volunteering at Tumwater.
Full responsibility.
And then, so I was a resident, and then I got hired at East Olympia in '99. Worked out as a lieutenant at East Olympia, and then I lateraled in 2008 to Tumwater as a firefighter. Did that, and then I I promoted to the training officer and then retired February 28th. And
So this is what you're gonna look like when you retire.
That's
Yeah,
what he looked
yeah.
like when he was 19.
Yeah, and I mean, like everyone said, I mean, the stories, the running on calls with other agencies, meeting other people from all over. I was on the SORT team as the deputy team leader for the SORT team, and that got us everywhere out in the county. I was part of the training officers group, and we did training all over the county, also actually outside of the county. And so those are memories that are always there. And then obviously some of the calls and just the camaraderie that we have back at the station, and being able to decompress from calls and stuff is cool. And we're definitely a different group of individuals, and how we handle and process the stuff we get to see is there. And stay healthy so you can retire young and early.
My name is Ken Goldsby. I got my start in the fire service in 1983. I became a volunteer under Lyle Smith in Black Lake. And what a mentor he was. Fabulous guy. I'm going to miss him. I was there as a volunteer, and then was lucky enough to get paid for a couple years. And then I moved on to Griffin, and was at Griffin for 15 years. Loved it, but I always had an ambition, I always had a goal. I wanted to work for Tumwater Fire. I think I heard one of you say it too. And so I wanted it so much that I was a fire chief, and I came over to Tumwater, rock bottom. I was the first one up, the last one to bed, doing the dishes, and just loved it. I spent 10 years there, retired as a captain. My roots go kind of deep in the Tumwater area. Kinda, yeah.
That's how you call that, kind of?
My great granddad came in 1881 in a covered wagon and settled, built a log cabin in where Montman Industrial Park is. And that's where my granddad was born in 1889. So anyway, roots go deep.
Yeah.
So, love Tumwater. I've been retired 7.5 years already. It's gone by like that. It's good.
Nobody can fold a fitted sheet like Kenny too. You're the laundry master. All right, well, thanks for hosting us today. Much appreciated. Yeah.
Want us to give a little history of
Yeah,
Firehouse?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Please.
Can I say something? If you guys look up old fart in the dictionary, my picture's gonna be there.
Right next to mine.
I was lucky enough, I started about 71, 72, and there's a lot of guys sitting right here that gave me my first shot, because it was absolutely unheard of that a woman wanted to be a firefighter. And my first night at drill, it was when Chuck O'Neill had been appointed assistant, or the new temporary chief, and he was giving out assignments. And he was like, okay, you're on the engine, you take the old rescue rig, and you guys get on the engine. And he looked at me and he said, honey, the typewriter's in the office. And I said, we need to talk. And so honest and truthfully, I've always thought about writing a little book, and I would make that title of the book, Typewriter T01. So if I give any of you newbie kids, because I'm older than your kids, get yourself a blank book. You've heard guys talk about all their experience and how long they were there. It's going to go so fast for you. But if you come back from your calls and just jot down a couple of things, where your call was, what happened. Sometimes it's stuff you can't repeat to others. Other times it's something that got you right here. Other times it's just plain fat funny, and you got to share it with other people, because they're not going to believe that kind of stuff happens. But write it down. I've got one that I treasure. I quit in 2002, I think it was. So I went from the early 70s to 2002, and I was lucky enough to get hired by Lacey. Unfortunately, I will say that in 1985, I was still the first woman hired in the county, and that was a long time between when I started to where we are now. And I am so grateful that you guys have a really diverse department, and you are recruiting not only women, but a real solid diversity. And I'm proud to say my heart is still Tumwater. And I've lived in the same house for almost 60 years. I still haunt the guys every once in a while at the stations, and I may have called them a time or two at 2 in the morning. But you all, in one way or another, have said you want to know about the history of your department. I really strongly encourage you, make contacts down here and interview one of us oldies, and then videotape it. Give it to your chief so they have it for the history of the department, and we have it for the history here. There, guys that are with Tumwater before, just raise your hands. You are looking at hundreds of years of experience that, and when they tell you some of the stuff that we did, I guarantee you're gonna look at us and say, you didn't do that. And we'll say, yeah, we did. And we can tell you the changes that have occurred to make your life a better life and a better firefighter or a better paramedic. So we're here. You don't have to be retired to be here. 10 o'clock, Monday morning, come down, have a cup of coffee, swap stories with us. We want to hear about how you're doing. So do come back, come visit us, come down to the station. All right? I'm done.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's give you guys a kind of a quick, brief rundown. Firehouse 5. I'm Mike Simmons. I started volunteering at Tumwater in '78. My dad retired and passed away from Tumwater. Jared's my cousin. There we go. Other volunteers: Fire Chief Larry Dibble, Tank Chief Frank Speckelmeyer, also Tumwater volunteers that ended up retiring out of Ole. But back in about 1998, when firefighters retired from Olympia, Larry Dibble, fire chief at the time, I think Larry Smith was union president at the time, kind of come together and created this thing called Firehouse 5. At Olympia, we only had 3 fire stations. We knew we'd never have 5 fire stations, so you got a shirt that said, congratulations, welcome to Firehouse 5. And that's really your ultimate goal as a young firefighter today, is make sure you're gonna retire. You're gonna make it to the end safely, healthy, you know, and enjoy this, you know, we get to do now. But anyway, so that we started the Firehouse 5 deal, and for years, there would be small groups of guys that would just meet at like coffee places, whoever had the cheapest coffee, that kind of stuff. There was no house type structure, anything like that. Then Ray and Renee McDonald step in. You guys want to raise your hand? That's Ray, his wife Renee. About 4 years ago or so, Ray had bought that fire engine there, engine 7, and Chief Dibble had brought your Tumwater's original first engine. Brian was actually, he used to take that first out. That was his. But anyway, they bought that and needed a place to store it. So Ray finds this place here, all the shops. He had different ideas of renting storage units out to firefighters for boats and their RVs and that kind of stuff. Well, it kind of just by accident turned into this. And every day something new would happen, all this kind of stuff. We ended up becoming a nonprofit. We have the City of Olympia donated that. We had to kind of buy it, but it was kind of a donation. And that was Olympia's 3rd engine. Doc Brown, that was Olympia's 2nd engine, Doc right there. He donated that engine back to Firehouse 5, and Doc's been a great member here. And then, you know, so everything we're growing here, you know. So, but we do have our Tumwater section here, and that was probably started because Chief Dibble was actually, you know, started his career at Tumwater where his dad did also. So. But that's kind of our story. We come out here, we hang out, we just have coffee, we try to work on preserving rigs. That's our main mission, is preserving the fire service history, you know. So we can get more retired like Tumwater guys to show up out here, it'd be great. We only see Bobby Sapp most of the time. Well, John's been coming down more often now, that's awesome. But like you said, you guys, you're more than welcome anytime you want to come out here, stop by, just shoot the shit, whatever, you know, ask us questions, we got it. A couple, with Maggie included there too, great historian for Tumwater, they know a lot.
Oh, sure, put pressure on us.
Yeah, I got one great story
You
though.
gotta tell the truth, Frank.
So when I started volunteering at Tumwater, there was another RSD lane, it was the White Civil Service truck. And we're going to some fire call, me and Maggie are on the freeway, Maggie's driving because I'm like brand new, and we're doing probably 35 miles an hour. Lights on, this thing going down, she's driving the freeway and cars would pass us and honking, and she's like, But the other story I got is told by Bobby Sapp. So it was a training fire, and Maggie was there, at her taking pictures, that stuff, but she was also totally gonna be the volunteer type deal. And a lot of you guys don't know Mike Fanning, he's a chief in Idaho now somewhere. But anyway, him and Bobby are in this fire, training fight fire. Mike panics and rushes out. And Bobby yells like, "Give me a real firefighter in here!" The door kicks open, here comes Maggie with an That's Bobby's favorite story. So, but that's all I have. Anybody else, you guys want to say anything?
I got one quick thing, Renee made biscuits and gravy, and somebody brought in donuts, please get on it, cause I'll eat it all after. We can go with it.
Thank you, because this is really good biscuit gravy. Yeah. To add on to one thing though, when you said stay healthy so you can enjoy your retirement, also take advantage of your deferred comp and put every nickel that you can into your retirement because it comes faster than you think and you can't draw your social security if you've invested in that until you're 65, 68. You're gonna need that retirement money and so start socking it away now. Do not buy that truck. Put your full 3% matched.
And Chief Crimmins has contact information for probably all of us. Please contact us. Let us sit down and talk together. We'd love to hear your stories, but we want to get the history of the department on film, video it, okay? I'm gonna find a picture of rocking one of the chiefs from Tumwater as he was a baby, because I worked with his dad.
All right, just thanks again. Thanks everyone for having us out.
We'll do a quick picture with anybody that is or was with Tumwater, you volunteer.
Let's do it.